After the success of The Color of Magic, a sequel was something of an inevitability. But how do you top The Color of Magic? I mean, how can you possibly raise the bar on something like that? Well, the answer lies in doing something that no other Discworld novel had ever attempted before. And that something was having a plot. What is The Light Fantastic? It's the novel that introduced plot to the disc. Yeah, that's right, no more loosely connected vignettes. Now Rincewind, Two Flower, and the luggage are going on a proper adventure. And what an adventure it is, because you see, Great Atuin is flying straight towards a red star, and no one knows how to stop him. Or her. Is it her? I'm not sure. I mean, I think it might be her, but don't take my word for it. After the Octavo starts acting up because of Atuin's trajectory, the Wizards of Unseen University become convinced that the key to stopping the Turtles' death march lies with Rincewind, who, as you remember, has one of the Octavo's spells running around in his brain. Things get complicated though when the various people living on the Discworld react to the oncoming collision in different ways. And to top it all off, one of the wizards of the university, Emperor Trimon, decides that he wants that spell in Rincewind's skull for his own nefarious ends. How does the world of The Light Fantastic work? This is the other book in the Discworld series whose main purpose is the world building, and many elements introduced in this book would become mainstays throughout the series. Unseen University is much more fleshed out in this book, introducing various staff positions like Arch-Chancellor, although it was still only Chancellor back then, and famous families like the Weatherwax clan. While Chancellor Galder Weatherwax would quickly become overshadowed by his cousin Esme Weatherwax, this is still the very first book to mention that family. And while the other staff positions of Unseen University would only be introduced in later books, the practice of wizards killing their superiors as a means of promotion is first introduced here. This is also the book where the librarian first turns into an orangutan, thanks to the introduction of the Dungeon Dimensions, an otherworldly realm of horrors, which were alluded to in the previous book but formally introduced here. Another dimension that we see for the very first time is Death's Domain, and while Death and his home haven't quite finalized their characterization, Death is much mellower in this book than in the previous one. Unlike his daughter Isabel, who is, yeah. In The Light Fantastic, we are also introduced to Cohen the Barbarian, and I think this reveals a shift in Pratchett's approach to parody from his last book. While there was a Conan the Barbarian parody in The Color of Magic, he was a parody in the sense that he played all the Conan tropes straight, except the racism, thankfully, and you were supposed to laugh at him for that. Cohen, meanwhile, is Conan, but with a twist. That twist being that he's an octogenarian whose body simply isn't what it used to be.
80 years in the business, and what have I got to show for it? Backache, piles, bad digestion, and 100 different recipes for soup. Soup, I hate soup.
Soup.
So the humor arises not from laughing at how silly the original Conan idea was in the first place, but by seeing someone trying to live up to that idea while failing in a humorous way. Also, this book is the one that answers the question of whether or not the Great Atuin can have babies. What that answer is, though, you'll just have to find out for yourselves. What does The Light Fantastic have to say? Nothing, really. While The Light Fantastic may have a single cohesive narrative, things like themes or meditations on humanity were still a long time coming for Discworld. Given that this is the book where Rincewind starts to become a better person, you could say that the story says friendship is awesome, but that really isn't much, and it's certainly a far cry from the depths later Discworld novels would possess. Don't worry though, later videos will have the section be far meatier. Final verdict. The Light Fantastic is basically just The Color of Magic, but better. It starts immediately after the end of Color, and the BBC even adapted both books to film as a single story, because, I mean, it's not like Color had plot or anything. Light doesn't really have anything to say, but it delivers the thrills and spills in a more skillful manner, and this contrast of quality illustrates an important lesson for writing fantasy. When we fantasy writers start out, we tend to think that the most important aspect of our fantasy world should be the world itself. What fantastic elements live in this world? What countries, religions, races inhabit it? How does it all work? But we forget that without people to populate this world, And without a story to guide our journey through it, the most interesting fictional world can still bore the crap out of readers. If you remember back when I was a blog, yes, I know, but please, bear with me. You remember that I held up Marco Polo's Il Milione as the pinnacle of world building. Indeed, that's one of the reasons for my channel name. However, the world-building bits of Marco Polo are easily the most boring aspect of his travels. It's really only when Rustichello de Pisa weaves a narrative into this world, and gives characterization to these figures, that Il Milione becomes more than just a travelogue. Marco Polo's world makes a great setting for adventure, but at the end of the day, there needs to be an adventure in order for people to care. So, at the end of the day, I would still give The Light Fantastic a 6 out of 10, but at the same time, if you had trouble with reading The Color of Magic, why not give Light a try? If nothing else, you'll find out if the Great Atuan can progenate. In the meantime, I am Marco Keen, signing off, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, and you'd like to see me make more, please leave a like or comment down below, share my video via Twitter, Facebook, or other means, and subscribe to my channel.